When you think about intimacy, most people reduce it to something physical, a number, a measurement, an idea that someone has to live up to in order to be enough, but the truth is so much deeper than that. Intimacy is not about inches, it's about presence. It's not about how long, it's about how deeply you can connect. It's about whether you are willing to slow down and step into the heart of another human being, whether you are willing to create an atmosphere where a woman feels safe, desired, and cherished. That is the true measure. Because a woman does not open up because of size, she opens up because of trust, and when trust is there, her body, her mind, her heart, they all respond in ways that surprise you. When love enters the room, everything changes. The kiss lingers longer, the touch feels softer, and the moments in between become just as powerful as the moments of passion. A woman does not take more because of what you bring physically, she takes more because of how you make her feel emotionally. She takes more when she knows she is seen, when she knows that you aren't rushing, when she feels that you are not just with her but for her. Romance is the bridge to intimacy, and it's built not with numbers but with whispers, with patience, with hands that linger just long enough to remind her she is the only one you see. The human heart has no measurement, and yet it holds more than we can ever imagine. When two people meet in honesty and vulnerability, when they dare to strip away the masks and the insecurities, the connection goes beyond the physical. It becomes something sacred, something timeless. A woman can take all of you, not because of length, but because you gave her your presence, your tenderness, your devotion. That is what makes her open fully. That is what makes her surrender into the moment. That is what makes her remember you long after the night is gone. Think about the times you've really been in love. Think about the way your chest tightens when you hear her laugh, the way you can't stop staring when she walks into the room, the way time seems to pause when she looks back at you. None of that has anything to do with size. It has everything to do with depth. The truth is, a woman can take more than you'll ever imagine when she feels safe in your arms, when she knows you are not judging her, when she knows you are willing to stay until her soul softens. That's the real secret. Not how much she can take, but how much love you can give. And when you combine passion with romance, when you let the intensity rise and fall like waves, when you let your hands and words dance together, you create a rhythm that no measurement can define. You stop asking how much and you start realizing that the answer is infinite. Because love has no limit. Connection has no boundary. And when you show up with tenderness, when you hold her face as though it's the most precious thing you've ever touched, when you let your lips speak without words, she will take more of you than you thought possible, not because of what you are, but because of how you love. So often, people get caught up in the wrong measurement of intimacy. They obsess over numbers, over what they think they need to be or how they think they need to perform, and in doing so, they completely miss the heart of what true closeness actually means. Presence is the real gift. When you are fully present with someone, when you look into their eyes and make them feel like the only person in the world, when you listen not just with your ears but with your whole heart, you create a bond that is far more powerful than anything physical could ever achieve. A woman doesn't remember the statistics. She remembers how you made her feel. She remembers the way you held her hand when she was nervous. She remembers the way you whispered her name like it was a prayer. She remembers that you slowed down enough to notice the details that no one else did. The way her hair fell across her face, the way her breathing changed when she felt understood, the way her smile lit up when she felt safe. That is presence. That is intimacy. Being present is about giving someone your attention without distraction. It's about letting go of performance and perfection and choosing instead to show up as real, open, and vulnerable. When you do that, you communicate something much deeper than desire. You tell her she matters. You tell her she's worth more than a fleeting moment. You tell her she's valued. And that kind of message penetrates deeper than anything else ever could. Think about the times when you felt truly connected to someone. It wasn't because of the circumstances or the setting, it was because you both chose to be there, fully, without holding back. The air feels different when two people decide to be completely present with one another. Every glance is charged with meaning. Every touch carries more weight. And the physical part, it becomes an extension of the emotional energy that's already overflowing. Presence is powerful because it silences the noise of comparison. It erases the fear of not being enough. It tells both people that the only thing that matters is right here, right now. A woman doesn't need someone who is perfect, she needs someone who is present. She doesn't need endless rehearsed lines or impossible standards, she needs your focus, your softness, your willingness to be right there with her. When intimacy is built on presence, everything else flows naturally. Passion becomes effortless, connection becomes limitless, and love becomes the language that both people speak without ever needing words. Presence is the proof that you understand intimacy is not about size, it's about the depth of the moment you're willing to create together. There is a universal truth about intimacy that is often overlooked: safety is the foundation. Without safety, there is tension, hesitation, and resistance. But when a woman feels safe, emotionally, mentally, and physically, she can open her heart and her body in ways that go far beyond what either of you could have imagined. Safety is not about locking doors or guarding boundaries, it's about creating an environment where she knows that she won't be judged, rushed, or dismissed. It's about showing her through your actions, your tone, and your patience that she is respected. Love is the second layer that expands her capacity. When a woman feels truly loved, she softens. The walls she's built to protect herself begin to crumble, not because she is weak but because she knows she no longer needs to protect her heart from harm. Love speaks in more than words. It speaks through small gestures, the way you look at her like she is the most beautiful sight in the world, the way you remember the little things she told you in passing, the way you choose her again and again, even in the smallest of choices. Love makes her feel wanted, not just for her body but for her essence. And when she feels that, she leans into the connection with a depth that defies limits. But love alone is not enough. To feel cherished is to feel rare, treasured, and irreplaceable. When a woman feels cherished, she understands that she is not just another option, not just a temporary companion, but someone held in the highest regard. Cherishing is about slowing down, about savoring every part of who she is, the way her laughter fills the space, the way her silence speaks volumes, the way her presence transforms the room. To cherish is to honor her not just in public but in the quiet, private moments where no one else is watching. It's the way you tuck the blanket around her shoulders when she's cold, the way you check in when she's been quiet too long, the way you hold her gaze when she needs to know she matters. When these three elements, safety, love, and cherishing, are woven together, a woman's openness becomes boundless. She lets herself be seen fully, not because she has to, but because she wants to. She trusts that her vulnerability won't be used against her. She believes in the strength of the connection, and that belief allows her to embrace intimacy not as something to endure, but as something to celebrate. The truth is, when a woman feels safe, loved, and cherished, she doesn't just open her body, she opens her soul. And when she does, the connection between you both transcends the physical and becomes something unforgettable, something that stays with you long after the moment has passed. That is where real intimacy lives. Romance is often misunderstood as flowers on special days or fancy dinners meant to impress, but in truth, romance is so much more profound. It is the daily, intentional act of showing someone that they matter to you in ways that words alone cannot capture. Romance is the language of love expressed through gestures, tone, timing, and attention. And when romance becomes the foundation of intimacy, the physical connection stops being mechanical or routine, it becomes layered with meaning, warmth, and tenderness that lasts far beyond the moment itself. Think about it. Physical closeness without romance is like a song with no melody. The notes may be there, but they don't move you. Romance is what brings the music alive. It's the way you touch her hair gently before leaning in to kiss her. It's the way you let silence linger long enough so that your eyes say what words cannot. It's the small pauses, the gentle teasing, the warmth of anticipation that makes the heart race. Romance is not a performance, it's the art of being intentional with love, and that intention transforms everything. A woman feels the difference immediately. Without romance, intimacy can feel empty, rushed, or one-sided. But when romance is present, she feels valued, desired, and seen. Her heart responds to the tenderness, her mind relaxes in the knowledge that she's with someone who cares, and her body follows naturally. This is why romance is not optional, it is essential. It bridges the physical with the emotional, turning simple closeness into something unforgettable. Romance also creates space for vulnerability. When you whisper something soft and sincere, when you hold her hand just a little longer than expected, when you choose to look at her like she is the most precious gift you've ever received, she feels safe to let her guard down. She feels encouraged to step deeper into connection with you. That openness doesn't come from size or stamina, it comes from the tenderness of romance. The beauty of romance is that it doesn't require grand gestures. Yes, a candlelit dinner is wonderful, but often it's the simplest acts that carry the deepest meaning. Sending a thoughtful message in the middle of her busy day, noticing the little details about her, or holding her close without expecting anything in return, these are the quiet yet powerful ways romance builds bridges straight into her heart. When she feels this level of attention, she associates every touch, every kiss, every moment with love, not just desire. And that's where the magic happens. Romance makes intimacy timeless. It ensures that physical closeness doesn't fade away into memory but lingers like a scent, like a melody you can't forget. Romance doesn't just connect bodies, it connects souls. And when two souls meet in that way, the experience becomes limitless, transcendent, and unforgettable. One of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to intimacy is assuming that there is a universal formula, that every woman wants the same thing, needs the same pace, or responds in the same way. Nothing could be further from the truth. Every woman is her own universe. She carries her own history, her own desires, her own insecurities, and her own rhythms. To believe that intimacy can be measured with a single standard is to miss the very heart of connection. True closeness begins when you realize that honoring individuality is not just respectful, it's the key to unlocking deeper love. Listening is the first step. And listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about paying attention to everything she communicates. Her tone, her body language, her silences, the way her energy shifts when she's comfortable or when she's holding back. A woman's uniqueness is revealed not only in what she says, but also in what she doesn't say. When you listen beyond the surface, you learn her rhythm. You begin to understand her comfort zones, her boundaries, and the moments when she feels most alive. That awareness creates intimacy because she feels recognized, not generalized. Honoring her individuality means letting go of comparison. It means not holding her against the shadow of someone else or against the weight of cultural expectations. It means meeting her exactly where she is. Some women blossom slowly, needing time, patience, and reassurance before they open up fully. Others express their desire more directly, wanting energy and passion right away. Neither is wrong. What matters is that you respect her unique pace and learn to dance in step with it. When she feels that you accept her exactly as she is, without pressure to conform, she relaxes into the connection. There's also a deeper layer to honoring her individuality, valuing her beyond intimacy. This means cherishing the quirks that make her who she is, the way she gets lost in thought when reading, the way her laughter fills the room, the small habits that make her different from anyone else. These details are not distractions, they are doorways. When you show that you see her in her entirety, not just her body, she feels safe enough to reveal her truest self. And here is the secret. When a woman feels honored in her individuality, she gives more of herself. She trusts that her uniqueness won't be overlooked or dismissed. She knows she is not a role she has to play but a person she is free to be. That freedom creates an intimacy that no amount of physical effort can replicate. It's not about doing more, it's about noticing more, respecting more, and valuing more. Every woman is different, and that is not an obstacle, it is the beauty of intimacy itself. Because when you learn to honor her individuality, you don't just connect with her body, you connect with her soul. And that connection is where love becomes limitless. We live in a world that constantly tells us to measure, to compare, to stack ourselves up against some imagined standard of enough. This mindset seeps into intimacy too, creating pressure, doubt, and insecurity. But intimacy was never meant to be a competition. It was never meant to be about how much a woman can handle or how much you can prove. The real question is not about taking, it is about giving. And not giving in the sense of performance or duty, but giving love in its purest, most intentional form. Love is not abstract in this context. Love is presence. Love is patience. Love is thoughtfulness that turns ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. When you give love, you shift the focus away from ego and place it on connection. You stop worrying about being enough, and instead commit to making her feel cherished, seen, and safe. And when she feels that, her openness expands naturally. It's not about endurance or numbers, it's about the depth of care you put into every moment. Giving love means being attuned to her. It means asking what she needs instead of assuming. It means paying attention to the subtle signals she sends, the ones that say, slow down, this feels good, or, I want more. It means honoring her boundaries without question, because respect is one of the purest expressions of love. When you give in this way, you build trust, and trust is the soil in which intimacy grows. Think about the power of small acts. The way you brush the hair away from her face, the way you hold her close afterward, the way you let her know she is not just desired but adored. These gestures may seem small, but to her they are everything. They tell her she is more than a body, she is a soul worth protecting and a heart worth cherishing. And when she feels that, the connection deepens into something far beyond the physical. Love also requires vulnerability on your part. To give love is to risk being seen in your own imperfection, to let go of the facade of control and allow yourself to be human, tender, and real. That honesty makes space for her to do the same. When you both come together in that kind of authenticity, the connection becomes unshakable. She doesn't need you to be flawless. She needs you to be genuine, devoted, and present. At the end of the day, what she remembers is not how much she could take, but how much you gave. She will remember the way you looked at her like she was irreplaceable. She will remember the warmth of your hands, the sincerity in your voice, the patience in your rhythm. She will remember the love, not the numbers. And that is the truth. The greatest measure of connection is not measured by physicality at all, but by how much love you are willing to pour into her, over and over again.